evening, everybody. It is 9:30, high like a boss, and you are welcome to the APAT show, the absolute coconuts in UK poker podcasting. Leigh, it's been a bit of a noisy 48 hours coming out of Vegas, hasn't it?
I was going to say, it sounds like you've got addicted to something in the last 48 hours, but yeah, it is very much 9. Yeah, it is very much 9:30 on a Sunday night. Welcome everybody to the APAT show, and we are saying warm welcome to another guest 2 weeks in a row, back from Vegas, the one and only Dan Williams. Good evening to you, Shooter. How are you?
Very, very well. Thanks for having me. You all good?
You are very, very welcome. Dan is with us for the next hour and a bit, whilst we follow all the action on grosvenorpoker.com with the Sunday Satellite. Dan is playing the Sunday Satellite. Did his kind of Dara O'Kearney nearly max late regged it, so has pretty much still got his starting stack. If you want to get involved, there are 8 minutes left of late reg on grosvenorpoker.com. We've got 11 players left of the 17 that started. So we've currently got 3 seats, £340 APAT seats up for grabs. This is your last chance to qualify for Liverpool, which is this time next week. If you want to get involved in that and get your buy-in for Liverpool for a lot less than the 140 buy-in. You've got 7 minutes if you want to get involved in that. There are some empty seats. We've got both tables up and going on the screen here, as you can see. So we'll keep an eye on that. Say loads to talk about. Stacks going on. A couple of football matches happening this evening as well that I'm keeping an eye on as well. We were just chatting about that before we came on air. But if you want to get involved on grosvenorpoker.com, you've got 7 minutes if you want to get into tonight's satellite.
Amazing stuff. Thank you, Leigh. Dan, welcome back. When did you arrive? When did you land back?
Oh God, I've been home. I don't know, 10 days maybe.
Oh,
I don't
10
know.
days as well.
Yeah, 10 days. I'm looking at the date. Yeah, 10 days.
He's well acclimatized now, Leigh. How long were you out there for, Dan?
Just over a week this time. Very short trip, bit of a flying visit. I think, we say a week with travel days. It ends up being about 10 days, doesn't it?
Yeah, it can do.
In the air or in the airport.
Successful week and a bit, Dan?
Yeah, really good. I went out. I'd organised a Poker News meetup game. So we had some industry people, some players, some fans, etc. all turn up at Planet Hollywood in the new card room, which was really, really good. Games went on till silly o'clock in the morning, including a really good mixed game. That was really fun. I haven't seen for a while, so that was nice. Played a bit of poker, not as much as I'd like. No bracelets to talk about, but we didn't lose money, so that's always good.
Oh, Leigh, how the other half live?
But you had a couple of deep runs though, Dan. Dan's keeping very, very close. Where did you finish in the Gladiator?
Oh, I don't know. 400th, I think, something like that, maybe.
Out of how many runners were in the Gladiator?
Oh, I don't know, 20,000, maybe something like that. I don't know.
It was so modest.
The numbers on the screen just kept going up and up and up, and I was
so modest in percentage terms. That's there. You landed there.
It was close. We good day one. Built up stack. Stayed in the same seat at the same table for the entirety of day one, which is obviously a huge benefit. Came back, very, very fast structure, sadly. So day two, I think we returned with just under average, which was 15 big blinds. So it was super short. And did not have much fun with card distribution on day two. We saw our first picture card in 3 levels, stuck it in and walked into a monster, sadly. But no, good. Nice to have a little sweat. Although I think the funniest part of the trip was Chip leading the mystery bounty at the MGM, going into the money when the bounties came into play, only to bust with no bounties.
Oh no!
Figure that one out. Typical Dan Williams poker story.
Yeah. That was the same tournament. Pete Wigglesworth was playing that one and ran deep in that one as well, didn't he? If I remember rightly.
Yeah, he did the opposite to me. He nursed a bowl all the way through. Well, not a bowl, but he nursed like an average stack all the way through, whereas I was the other end. I was not. If we'd have had bounties from the get-go, I'd probably be a millionaire by now. I think we knocked out about 14 or 15 players. But sadly, once we got to the actual bounties in play, we were unable to win any of our all-ins. So we actually paid $10 for a Hendon Bob entry after all of it, because we cashed for $10 less than what we paid to buy in. So Yeah.
Ouch.
That was fun.
A flag's a flag. You can't complain
Flag's a
about
flag.
that. And,
Well, put
and
it
as,
on,
you
though,
can see
so-
on the, as you can see, top left of our screen, Des has handily put a little countdown up there. You can see we have got just over 3 minutes if you want to get into this satellite. So we say this is the last chance if you want to get in to play Liverpool next weekend. We are at Liverpool for our latest APAT event. Day one's on the Friday evening and Saturday afternoon. Now, I should give a couple of shout outs. Bill Shepherd has popped in the group and said, guys, if you need any recommendations of pubs and things to do, just
Bill.
let him
Yeah.
know.
Good
And
man.
also Scouse as well messaged me earlier on before we came on the show. He said, for the showtime. Scouse actually hit a royal flush playing the feeder for this satellite tonight earlier on today whilst playing on his phone. He sent me a screenshot of it. Not bad work if you can get it. But Steve also did say, again, if anybody needs anything next weekend, I mean, that felt like he was offering some sort of Uber Eats style thing. Or whatever, but I'm not sure. But basically, he said, if anybody needs anything next weekend, or where to go, what to do, where to stay, or anything whatsoever, he said, just message him. He is absolutely buzzing that APAT is coming to Liverpool next weekend, his hometown. Very, very proud he is of that. And he very much just said, please put it out on the show, let people know. Just message me if there's anything he can do to help out. Taxi service, probably. You're just, literally just, get yourself a cheap hotel out the town now, and Steve will just drop you in every day. It'll be fine. It'll be a doddle. But loads of places to stay. The casino is right kind of on the river. It's pretty close centrally, and there is so many hotels around it. So plenty of choices on what you can do. But looking forward to everyone that's going to play in Liverpool next weekend.
Oh, should be amazing. Listen, guys, we have a ton of people in the chat box. So Mr. Lawler, not unusually, is in there very early. Evening to you, Sai. Mr. 40 says, hello all. Talking about Will Kassouf tonight. Do you know what? I think we might.
Kassouf. Hang on a minute. Let me just
I know
Google.
that name.
Will, is that double S?
2016, wasn't it?
You've just
Is it
carved him
double
out of
S1F?
your mind,
Yeah,
haven't you?
Yeah. Double S1F. Right. What am I looking for? Yeah.
You're looking for 9. No, I'm going to avoid it. Carl is out there and says, good evening, gents. Evening to you, Carl. Hoping for some opinions on Kassouf's exit. Well, I suspect we won't be just talking about his exit. Steve says, I know the guy. There is a bit to unpack. Arguably, there isn't enough time in this evening's stream to do it justice, but we will talk about it without ignoring the poker, because we don't want to do that either.
You have got pretty much a minute if you want to get into this. We have got to 20 runners, so we've got 4 seats. We are up to 4 seats now, locked up. There's 14 players left, so you're pretty much on a kind of a 1 in 3 if you still want to jump in now and get in. Steve Forte has gone absolute max late reg this now. He's just sat down with
the start. Hasn't he? He's learned.
So's Real Coyley as well. He's done exactly the same. Let me just give a shout out who else is in the short stack at the moment is Trav Mint, which is John Murray. Number 1 Poker Pops, Dave Amos is in there with pretty much an average stack at the moment. Alan Ellis is in there. We mentioned Dan, who's Bjorn Heiderstrom. Bugworld is Scouse, is Steve Bailiff, so he's playing. Tristan Bust is playing tonight, so hi to you, Tristan. Red Nev, Neville Harrington is in there as well. Second in chips at the moment is Co-LFC Perps, which is Bill Shepherd, and the current chip leader at the moment is the one and only Douglas Dew, who's Brian Frew. Straight away, I've got that up on the screen. Double top with the jacks up against 2 cats, 10s, jack on the flop, and Steve 40 late regis and has already doubled his stack. So you've got seconds left now if you want to get into this. Up to 21. Someone else. Who else has just snuck in last minute here? Nightwish GB has also snuck in. Is Nightwish? I want to say.
Can't recall Nightwish.
Nightwish is Peter, I think.
Peter
Thorpe. Peter Thorpe. I think.
You think so? Okay.
I think Nightwish might be Peter Thorpe.
Yeah, if you're out there, Pete, let us know. Just to finish off in the chat box, Lee, as these last few seconds click down, Steve went on to say, I know the guy that finished 65th out of 23,000 entries in the Gladiator, 65th. Bloody hell. He took away $7,750. That was Wayne Billy Irwin. Give him a shout out. We're happy to do that. Kind of feels like Wayne Billy Irwin maybe, came out of town on a horse or something, at a 10-gallon hat. That's a great sort of Nevada Western style name. Love that. Wayne Billy Irwin.
Nightwish is Peter Thorpe, so
is he?
multi APAT medalist in the world. What I would also say, Pete was out in Vegas, first trip for him. If you don't follow him on socials, please check him out on Instagram. Such emotional videos with his first ever experience of the World Series and getting to play. I think he was playing the Colossus, I want to say, but genuinely loved the passion and the time he took with all the videos to kind of diarize his experience out in Vegas. Well worth following. He's Nightwish on Instagram, so you'll find him. For those of you that have played the Worlds, I think most of his Hendon caches are probably APAT Worlds, because absolutely loves it. And I'm sure we will see him in Nottingham next month. Right, no doubt.
Let me carry on here, Lee. Cy Allen has joined us, says, hi all. Hi to you, Simon. Simon says, well deserved. I think they're talking about Kasuf's exit there. The lovely, the one and only Joe Chillmate. Hey, chaps. Hope everyone's well. We are well. Did I see you celebrating something last night, Joe? I'm sure I saw pictures on the timeline. Always celebrating. Wow, look, we've got one Mr. Cundall coming to us from the YouTube. Keeping an eye on you tonight, Dan. Keeping an eye on you. Wants to hear what you have to say about Kasuf. Good evening to you, Ben. Hope you're well. And Mr. Shepherd, John has sat out the whole game. So he is our shepherd for Liverpool travellers. But commenting on, I guess, John Murray. Is that right? Was John Murray?
Well, what I would say, John was one of the ones that kicked in early to get the game up and running. He was reg. I think he was first to reg, actually. I wonder whether something's cropped up or he's forgotten about it. But I will drop him a message, because I say I don't think he'd find it. What I'll do. Wow. I'll do the decent thing, and if that's happened, I'll drop John some poker raffles tickets for something, because he's clearly missed out on something there, and I'd never like to see that. Surely you could have all sat out until he turned up. I thought that was the APAT way. Is that not
the
how we
ethos?
Do things around here?
Definitely.
No, he's just been eliminated. We should all clap.
Yeah, well played, John. Unlucky, just missed out on a seat. Unfortunate, but to be honest, John's been doing an incredible.
He's doing wonderful. Doing
effort.
wonderful.
With us, we'll catch up on the fantasy. Just saw you flash that up on the screen.
Yes, I didn't know that.
A Nugget event. Yeah, great, absolutely superb. Buzzing for him, picking up a win in that. We've got the winner's photo with it all and everything on his socials. Say, go and check Pete's socials out. Absolutely, really entertaining and well worth getting a bit of time to go through the content. Absolutely super. So let's just clear. We're late reg is well and truly closed. 21 runners now. So top 4 are going to pick up a seat, and weirdly 5th, 6th and 7th are picking up literally some cash for a pint and a packet of crisps. Not quite sure why it split the cash between 5th, 6th and 7th, but it has. So when we're on how many we've got left? 13 left at the moment. So when we get onto a final table, 7th, 6th, they're going to pick up a tiniest bit of money. It'll get you a beer next weekend, and that will be about that. Question from Steve 40, I can see in the chat. What's Dan's screen name? Dan is the one and only Bjorn Heiderstrom. And Dan, for anyone that doesn't know, do you want to explain it?
Oh my god, right, yeah, it's very boring unless you're interested in this very small niche of the world. But back in the day, I grew up playing Championship Manager 97, 98, so shows how old I am. And there was a player in the database called Bjorn Heidenstrom, who was a nobody player in real life, had one season as a trialist in Leyton Orient, but for some reason the researchers in the game decided to make him this unstoppable superstar, so you could pick him up for cheap, and he'd just go on and win you Champions League after Champions League. So I'm quite well ingrained in the old school Championship Manager kind of online community. Play a couple of events every year with the same select group of losers like myself, and yeah, Bjorn Heidenstrom is just an iconic legend. So if you played the games back in the day, you'd probably know who he is. And yeah, I don't know what I needed to make a screen name, and it popped into my head. He's a really nice bloke, actually. I'm friends with him. I speak to him quite regularly through social media. He's in the process of sending me a signed shirt. I played a save many, many years ago as Hibernian in Scotland, and he was my talisman. And I told him the story. He was in one of the group chats we had, like, on Zoom. And he said to me, "Oh, you send me a Hibernian shirt to Norway, and I'll sign it and send it back." And I laughed, but did it anyway. And he sent me a picture a couple of weeks ago to say I've received it and it's on its way back. So
amazing,
awesome.
So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, he's very nice.
No, I grew up with Championship Manager in the 90s, whereas a lot of, I guess, guys now play poker in their uni years. Very much, we were very much just, it was a Championship Manager thing at the house shares we had at uni. So that was
yeah, you must, like, you're similar age as me. So I think that was like the first time that you could have the linked games, right? So we'd have a game running, and everybody was in their room on their own PC playing the same save. So you'd be sat like banging on the wall, like, clicks continue, because like the game won't advance until everybody
and that's before you were still on dial-up. Internet connection then as well. So for anybody younger than say broadband is just it's always, data is always there now. It never used to be like that, and not that long ago. We're talking like 30 years
really
ago.
Wasn't that long ago. It really wasn't.
It really wasn't that long ago.
Do you know, at a moment, it hit me. Don't ask me quite how this hit me, but I saw it was like somebody's birthday, 1995 or something, and I saw that they were 30, and I couldn't believe that somebody who was born in 1995 was 30. Now I know it's simple maths, so it shouldn't have been a surprise to me. But like, I can remember like breakfasts I've eaten from 1995. Do you know, it didn't feel like that long ago, and yet it's been 30 years. The time is just flown by.
Yeah, and technology, frightening. If you think where technology's gone in the last, say, 20 years, to think therefore where's it going to be in the next 20 years is it's mind-boggling where it's going to go. You only have to see what's going on with AI at the moment to know that you can't always trust what you see on the internet in the way of video clips and all this kind of thing. But I'll tell you what, everything that's came out about Will Kassouf in the last 48 hours is pretty much genuine, and that all happened, folks. That is for sure.
I might kick this one off because I don't know about you guys, but I love Poker Go at this time of the year, and I think it might have been Tuesday when we moved from days 2 and 3 into the more serious day 4. They started the streams at 9 p.m. in the UK. So I would watch between 9 p.m. and 12:30. I would just sit down. You got the Poker Go app on the telly. Brilliant. Just pop that on. 9 p.m. to 12:30, off to bed. Great. Check poker news first thing in the morning. How is it all finished up? So I did that from Tuesday, Wednesday, I think. And I've got it sat on my computer here in the corner. 9 minutes to go, right? 9 minutes time. We go live for day 8. Brilliant. Love it. Will Kassouf's been kind of really interesting because in some respects it's been extremely hard to watch. In other respects it's been unmissable watching. And of course there's two sides to this story, because however bad you feel he's been, the WSOP have not covered themselves in anything like glory in terms of the way that they've managed it. I felt deeply uncomfortable, in fact, by the way the World Series of Poker have managed this thing. So I'm conscious that this is all personal opinion, but Leigh, Dan, I mean, where do you guys come out? Because lots of people will say no, it's definitely an issue here, and lots of people will say no, it's an issue over here. Where do you both stand on this one, the Kassouf?
You want to go first, Dan? I jump in. Yeah,
I've played with Kassouf in real life and had arguments with Kassouf in real life, and just got 4 outed there. Anyway, ignore that poker thing. Didn't want to go to Liverpool anyway. Rubbish place. But yeah, I've always had.
For those who didn't see it, it was Ace Queen versus Ace Jack of Neville Harrington, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Anyway, I find Kasufa challenge. I've played with him, shared a table with him, had my own conversations with him, shall I say. I feel this year felt really different. Obviously we had all the controversy with him in 2016, the last time he had a super deep run, and there was, a lot of things said, and he played up to the cameras and did his whole spiel. And I think what we have to remember is what we're seeing from the WSOP of Will is a massively intensified version of how we see him in the UK. Like, he's slow in the UK, he talks a lot, he's frustrating, but when he's playing in the UK at Dust Till Dawn and these other tour events, we don't see this continuous tanking. We don't see, because obviously the pay jumps and all these other things are very much bigger at the World Series in the main event itself. But to me it feels very different. It feels like Will is almost needs a PR person by his side. It feels like he's realized that being this abrasive character with on PokerGo streams and having access to all these audiences, he knows that brands like ourselves and other social media and news companies are going to cover him because he's the headline story by doing what he's doing. It just feels like he's just got it a bit wrong. Like, I'm not saying what he's done is ever right, but it feels like he's just pushed it in the wrong direction. I don't know if that's intentional or if, I don't know, there's something else behind it. But yeah, it was very uncomfortable viewing. If I'm honest, I watched the stuff that we've put out, obviously, but as far as PokerGo streams, it's actually meant that I've not bothered watching for the last 3 or 4 days, which is probably the first year since PokerGo's had access to the WSOP coverage that I've not made an effort to watch the main event deep. I've got better things to do than watch him tank for 10 minutes a hand and then cry to other people. So yeah, don't know, it feels a bit off, feels a bit different this year, and I can't put my finger on it, but yeah, he definitely needs a PR guy to kind of point them in the right direction, because he's all over the place. But I don't know what you think, Leigh.
Well, that's where I was heading with. I don't think anybody comes out of this looking at all great. As you say, they've had an experience of Will, previously, so they know what his game is, and I think he's entitled to go and play his game. It works for him. He gets under people's skins, and he gets a lot of good reads and a lot of good. You don't run that deep in that type of event, even a couple of times in the space of of 8 years or whatever, without being able to play the game. But some of the rulings and some of the decisions that were made, it was done in a very nonchalant, that's our decision, that's it, without any explanation, and therefore it just riled him, and so I was kind of on his side for some of that, albeit he does push the boundaries. However, certainly around his exit hand and late on the day before, and he must have had, I think, was it 2 or 3 round penalty rounds dished out at one point or other, and the discussions then being had with the floor, and him asking to speak to Jack Effel to come, and then he comes over, and then he walks, and his exit hand was just crossing the line. You bust the tournament, if you're going to then berate the likes of Kenny Hallett, who's just decided to make the call with King 5 when he sat with I think Kenny had about 40 million in chips at that point to Will's 2 million.
Kenny had like over 100 bigs, and the shove was
it's just like, what are you berating? To then not leave the table for another 2 or 3 minutes, and then still be suggesting that you're going to come back next year and I'm remembering all of your faces, and I'm going to get you all back. To be honest, for that alone, I'd be surprised if he's allowed to play another WSOP, because it's actually beyond aggressive at the table, outside of the game of poker. It's human aggression. There's no need for it.
What I didn't feel like I was looking at over those 2 to 3 days, particularly the last 2 to 3 days where it got super intense, what I didn't feel I was looking at was a man looking to find an angle. It might have started off like that. What I thought I was seeing both 2 days ago and yesterday when he exited last night was somebody who was kind of bullied mercilessly by his table, So that was their slight edge against him. That's what I felt I saw. And I thought I saw somebody who might, this can only be personal opinion, right? But I felt like I was viewing somebody who was ever so slightly on the spectrum. And he's just wired a little bit differently.
I think he was on the edge, Des. I think he was very much on the edge.
Wildly on the edge.
He hadn't had enough sleep.
I don't think he was in control of it.
Exactly. And that's the point where that Dan made about a good PR person. I think up to sort of day 5, he was getting good attention and getting good, exposure. And to be honest, at that point, you're thinking, well, wherever he goes here, he might be able to do, whether he was looking for maybe a deal back in the game or something like that, whatever. I think he crossed that line now where I don't think anybody would now touch him. And so if he'd have had somebody on his shoulder to go, hey, Will, just, you need to kind of, just rein this in a little bit here and manage it, as Dan's suggesting. I don't know who he had on the rail that was there to just say to him.
He did have Lindsay Roberts in a banana suit. I did see that.
Well, there we go.
My favourite part of the whole thing.
But I don't get a sense he could. I just didn't get a sense he could rein it in.
Maybe nobody would. Maybe if somebody did say to me, he wouldn't necessarily take it in. But he was very much on the. It felt like he was absolutely
it was intense.
on the edge there. And unfortunately for him, whatever his angle was, if it was more than just trying to wind people up to take advantage at the poker table, whatever his plan was, I think it probably has backfired on him.
The thing is, if you look back to 2016 when he busted Griffin Benja in the cooler, there'd been all the berating, all the grief, all the crass, all the arguments, whatever, back and forth, floor rulings, etc. He gets coolered. He tried to shake everybody's hand. He was very quiet and calm. And I know some of them didn't want to shake his hand that year, which, they absolutely have a right to do if they feel that they've been, verbally abused, which you could argue he does to people. But he kind of just went on his way. What happened had happened, and he was kind of at peace at it. Whereas this year it felt like it was fueled with anger and disappointment. But whether I think personally the WSOP handled it well or not is kind of irrelevant. My point doesn't really, my opinion doesn't matter so much. However, I would not be surprised if a lot of those players had made complaints to PokerGo, to WSOP from day 4, 5, 6 with all of his antics, because we only see the snapshot that PokerGo want to give us, right? What we don't see is all the time that he's on the outside table and he's still doing the same. And if you look back to the beginning of the series when I was there, Cabral was in the middle of his run and he was, he won the Million Maker and had a 1-round penalty for doing something he'd been told not to. Will was doing things he'd been told not to. Now, there's a couple of egregious things. I know that Mitch Hyman called him a prick at one point and nothing happened to Mitch, but that would have been Mitch's first warning, right? Another Brit player, for those who don't know Mitch Hyman, I think he finished 50th in the end. But that would have been his first kind of conversation with the floor, so he'd have probably got a slap on the wrist. When you're having the floor called on you 6, 7, 8 times a level, at what point does that not become enjoyable? Because the WSOP are there to make sure everybody that's paid that $10,000 is enjoying their experience. That's that's their responsibility within the rules of the game. And how much does Will really push the rules of the game? Because who wants to sit there for 10 minutes every hand watching him fold? And when you see on the stream, he's not got a tough decision. He's folding 6-3 offsuit and things like that. That's not player experience. And, their product, ultimately, it's better to upset one person and they don't come back with their $10,000 than it is to have 5, 6, 7, 800 people.
There's just a couple of things. Yeah. There's just a couple of things that I would add to that. I think for the WSOP, I thought, Jack Effel, whether he knew he was on camera or not, I thought came across very unprofessionally to, tell one of his customers to shut up in the middle of a significant event like that, despite the problems that was occurring. It just didn't look good. But number two, what I could not understand is the number of times that floormen walked over and obviously stood behind Kassouf and gave him a 30-second, 10-second, 5, whatever it was, countdown, right? Why didn't, given the circumstances, they put a floor man on Kasuf's table to stay there and monitor the situation, so that rather than Kasuf having to continually repeat the mantra of, he's just called the clock at me, 10 seconds, I've had it for 20, I've had my hand for 20 seconds. Why didn't they monitor his table for a period of time so that they could, just issue guidance to the table as a whole to try and actually de-escalate and manage the situation? Instead, they continually walked away and allowed the same situation to reoccur time and time again. And it just increasingly frustrated Kasuf. And unfortunately couldn't handle it.
Yeah, it wasn't just the time situation. There was one hand that I saw where he'd stepped away from the table to try and see how many chips his opponent had, because his opponent was refusing to say or move his chips so he could seek, and he had them stacked up behind. And the floor came over, and pretty much your hand's dead. You're more than an arm's length away from the. It wasn't even a discussion about it. It was, it's Will Kasuf, right? And that I felt was it got. But then there are other people that have argued the point. Well. All of his antics for the days prior to that have led up to he doesn't get the same level of giving a chance or benefit of a doubt because of all of his antics previously. And I guess there is an element of, you have got to take the history that comes with it to go, well, okay, he's been doing this for days now, so they're not. If a floor is called to a player that they don't know, they've never seen, on day 6 of a tournament over something, they're going to have a slightly more benefit of the doubt. I'll listen to what this person's got to say than just flying in with a decision. They see who it is and straight away go,
which is wrong. Yeah. Right. So I understand it. I understand it, but it's wrong.
Well, it is and it isn't, Des, because the floor staff aren't there to just manage one player. As Dan says, they're there to ensure that the enjoyment for everybody, the 10,000 people that are playing it.
I know it's day 5 of the main, right? And we're down to 100 players or whatever number you're at that point when we start to talk about this. But at the same time, there's 500 other poker tables full of players in the other rooms that these floor men still need to kind of oversee and make sure things are going okay. So although we're always going to focus on the main event because it's the big thing and obviously it's getting deeper into the tournament, their product's still running in all the other rooms with all the other tables.
Dan, but
the men need to kind of oversee that. And you have to think, Kasuf did exactly the same in 2016. So, I know Bob, one of the floor men, speak to him every year, get on really well with him. I know most of the floor men. They've never had to speak to me once in any tournament, but 2 tournaments where they're paying for $10 million plus on days 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the same person has been obtuse, disruptive.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Kasuf was an embarrassment to himself, to his community. Absolutely no issues with that. I wonder quite why that was. Part of my question is how much is him versus maybe something he can't control. I really don't know, but it kind of just worried me. But a floor man was always no more than 5 seconds away because they were always able to come out of the dark and make a ruling pretty instantly once they were called. And I just didn't understand why one of them didn't just stand there for a while to try and at least observe the situation. Because at the end of the day, the World Series of Poker and Caesars are licensed by the Nevada Gaming Commission. And it'll be interesting to see how they review the way this customer was managed. Because one should always try and manage, de-escalate, not continually have the same issue reoccurring and just getting progressively worse. Wasn't impressed, I have to say, which is really unusual because I think the World Series of Poker
it is a shame because
brilliant show.
If you take Will out of the equation, who's the story of the main event? Is it probably Kenny Hallett? Maybe is that possibly the one, somebody that's given so much
Mizrachi.
of the game? What's the story of the World Series? Because really, the 2 big stories of the World Series, one has been a millionaire maker heads up, and now it's been Kasuf in the main event. Whether you like it or not, these situations are what create interest, and they probably had more clicks, more views on content over those 2 stories than they have done over most of the content that goes out across the couple of months. And ultimately, you want eyes on poker. Is it bad that it's more negative? I don't know, but ultimately, nobody's who's interested in so and so won tournament number 47. No one cares.
I agree.
And
they really
I'm not condoning any of the actions from the WSOP with Will specifically, but you also let's take a step back and put things into a little bit of perspective. The Floras had to deal with Cabral going deep in lots of tournaments. I don't know if he still is now, but he was top of player of the year for the thing. Like, Cabral has been deep in a lot of tournaments with a lot of money at stake, with lots of complaints, lots of issues going on. They've obviously had all the drama associated with the Millie Maker final table heads-up situation and had to deal with all of that. But as we know, it was speculated that they had to go to Nevada Gaming and, had to make a decision on those people. And then all that kind of dissipates. They get a nice back-to-back winner in the ladies, which is an amazing story. And like the brand,
another incredible story. Yeah.
And then they have to deal with Kasuf for 5 days. And I'm not saying you should be able to obviously remove these situations and have them in vacuums, but ultimately, feels like an exhausting summer for the WSOP. And I can understand as a human why Will Kasuf would literally boil the top of the lid.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those. It's a shame.
What's the chat saying, Des? I saw it go absolutely crazy.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff in the chat.
Let
me kind of go in here. So one thing, let's have a look. Sorry. Okay, so tongue in cheek. Okay, but I guess we all wonder what the hell is going on there. There's no question. A shot clock will stop this nonsense and will have to be introduced, even if it is the main event, because this can't happen again. It was too disruptive. What else? Simon went on to say, I watched the no comms stream of his table. It was excruciating. I watched a bit of the no comms myself. Prefer to stick to the comms. And of course, Kasuf, because of the antics, got a lot of coverage in any event. What else? So Joe says, I've played with him in Luton a lot. Speech play and talking about hands are one thing, but the constant aggressive demeanour, personal insults was way too far, way past part of the game. Would have to agree if that's what was occurring there. Bill says he's an idiot. There's been another one this week, also smaller bloke than him, but just as idiotic. We'll come back to that. Joe continued, love a bit of table banter, but I can't imagine sitting there directing expletive personal insults at someone. I just felt step too far, and for the cameras and coverage, like a small child needing attention. I think there's a lot in that last sentence in particular. Sai says, agree with Dan. I think he's trying too hard to create a public persona. He's got it wrong. I mean, if this is all about public persona, while he may well have got the clicks of the poker world, it does feel like he's got it wildly wrong. I can't imagine, walking by a Kasuf table at Asper's and not shouting clock just as you're walking by, because frankly, that's got to be what the whole poker world today would do. Steve says, so I'm going to move off of general stuff. Joe, like Dan said, he needs to surround himself with grounded people who can be honest and frank with him. Does he not have any people in his corner?
No, I think the thing, like, Will Kasuf's a very intelligent person, right? I think we're all very aware of that. We know he's a lawyer. He shouts about it all the time. It feels to me.
Is he a lawyer? He's a lawyer.
Yeah, but
he's a lawyer.
Is he really? Because I don't think he's ever mentioned. I don't think he's ever mentioned that, Dan, on any of the streams. He should have maybe told, one of the government directors or something that he's a lawyer. He could have, if he'd mentioned it to them, they might have taken him seriously.
Oh, dear. Ben is out there and takes a mature outlook. He says he couldn't handle his emotions when he got super deep and was tired, and he was tired. Hopefully realizes and apologizes and takes accountability. We'll see. I'm not sure if he has that in him.
Do you think, guys? Do you think there is a comeback here, that he takes a deep breath on this and realizes, because that was what I was thinking this morning, thinking, well, okay, if he goes out, and apologizes and goes, look, yeah, guys, I was I was absolutely tired. It shattered. I wasn't thinking straight. And some of the stuff I've done, the adrenaline was pumping. We're deep in the tournament. I'm going, and I've crossed the line. And actually, if he publicly came out and said, "Look, I've overstepped the mark. It's my game, and it's how I look to get an edge. But ultimately, I've overstepped the mark." Do you think there's any way that that they turn around and go, "Okay, we'll give you another chance"? Because they've only said he can't play any events for the rest of this year at the moment. But it does feel, after what went on with the Millionaire Maker 2, that you kind of feel like they're going to turn around and go, "Do we want this hassle again next year?" Because it'll still be there. You can stick a shot clock in, but it's still going to be there, isn't it? It's going to be. It doesn't go away.
Say what he wants, but it's almost 10 years to the day that he was doing exactly the same thing, and this, all right, it didn't go maybe as extreme this time, but I think it's very hard, right? He's cried wolf in 2016, done it, and then it's happened again. I think lightning struck twice. I'm not sure they're going to believe it, even if it is as sincere as it can be. I mean, there's something to be said when Adam Hendricks, one of the biggest well-known pros that's still deep, buys the whole table earplugs. Doesn't just buy himself earplugs to deal with Wilkes. And if you watch his bust-out hand, there's an hilarious moment where, I'm trying to think what the player's name is now. One of the other players left in, the flop comes out, Will's giving it all. The king comes on the turn for Kenny, and the kid just takes his earplugs out and starts laughing, which I was just absolutely beautiful.
Oh.
But then even after he busted and he did the tirade, he was then at the cashier's cage getting his $300K, asking for it in crisp $100 bills.
Tax-free $100 bills, please.
And I was just like,
I mean, his exit had a bigger entourage than Phil Helmer's entrance. I mean, it was
guys. Guys, Will is actually in the chat. Hold on, let me put this up. Oh no, sorry, it's Bill. Bill's in the chat. Me and Steve Bayliss at the same table as him. You would be well banged out. That's the welcome to Liverpool, right? We've just nixed the welcome to Liverpool there. Apparently, with an A-patter. With 3 tables remaining, we had an A-patter there. Simon says, was the girl in a banana suit an A-patter? She looked familiar. And Lisa's out there.
Lindsay's played.
That's Lindsay Rogers in the banana suit.
Yeah. She's played APAT events before, yeah.
There you go. So we did get an A-patter down to the final 3 tables. No mean feat, I have to say.
Actually, Lindsay's interview with Poker Org, I think it is, about why she was in
why was she in a banana suit?
It's I can't. I'm not. You've got to go and find it. It is an amazing 30-second interview. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Wowzer!
So funny, and we don't really get to the point of why the suit, but we go from banana to playing in Caesars to a tattoo to showing people the tattoo to wearing a banana suit.
I should add to this conversation, there are other poker media operators out there other than the one they mentioned. Is that good?
Listen, Joe says on Jack Effel, I guess it's Jack Effel, I think Jack was very like Kasuf at times, needed someone to take him to one side, rein it in, keep it professional. Hard to argue with that. John interjects and says, tell Leigh that tournament 47 was very important. Helmuth nearly got a bracelet. Would that have been number 17?
That's why I was chuckling, because I randomly picked a tournament number, and of typical that it was the one that Helmuth nearly won, and obviously not typical. John was going to know exactly what was going on, because he's been living and breathing this, and he's up to 87 results. We'll have a look at the fantasy leaderboard in a little while, but he's got 87 results locked in now. Is it 101, Dan? I want to say. I think it's 101.
Yeah, 101. Yeah.
101. So we're getting to the close towards the end of that now. So
wowzers. A couple of other things here, guys. And I guess this is the big point. Look, he makes poker unenjoyable for all at his table, and it is clear that things had reached the point with his table mates whereby it did become a bit of I cannot put up with this anymore, and that quickly turned to, as I said, some form of kind of bullying, right? Because it was unreasonable to call him for a shot clock after 10 seconds every time. Joe says, I think if he has any chance of coming back next year, the apology and accountability has to be the first step. I guess after that, he just has to prove he's worked on himself, and there won't be lots of chances there. I mean, I can't see him. I think they'll just ban him. I think they'll see him as uncontrollable.
And they just might decide. And ultimately, all of these live venues and the online operators, for that matter of fact, actually, they don't have to give a reason.
Yeah.
There's nothing which says they have to allow you to play poker on their site or in their card room or allow you even into their venue if they don't want to. They don't have to give a reason why. As long as it's not breaking any laws around anything, any prejudice or anything like that, they don't need to give a reason why they choose not to do that. So ultimately they won't. And the reality of it is no one's going to boycott next year if Will doesn't get back in. He'll have his supporters. Of course he will. There'll be people that'll say they loved what he was doing and and it's great. But ultimately, it's not going to make a blind bit of difference to the WSOP next year, and nor should it.
I mean, he's still got a sponsorship with the Beer Poker Tour, so he's fine. Right?
Isn't it if you win? If you win with 9 high and you shout out 9 high like a boss, when you win with the hand, you get a free beer. I think that's the promotion. If I remember rightly, we missed a trick there, Des, with APAT. Why did we not think about offering a free beer and if you shout something out? We've definitely missed out.
I think we have. Look, guys, I just got to share it for a second. It's all happening there in the background. You gotta love the streaming piece, guys. I have to say, pretty nice to see.
Yeah, it is. It is cool. But yeah, we'll see. As I say, I don't think anybody comes out of it great. But hopefully lessons can be learned, and it's a step forward. The WSOP, what I will say, is making big leaps forward in what they're doing, with the app this year and the buy-ins being sorted a lot more online, which means they can manage all of the seating and all of that is a huge step forward. And your most big tournaments you go to now have a shot clock as standard. I think if you turn up at any Dusk Till Dawn event, any day of the week, I think pretty much they run a shot clock. I would be gobsmacked if that wasn't something which got brought in somewhere along the line as well. And it'll just improve in what they're doing. They'll have seen that the numbers this year, say if they get that infrastructure right, they can, financially it can be even better for them. So they'll carry on doing that. Joe's message: Are we just priming a ban for APAT? I can't remember the last time we banned anybody from APAT. It's been a long time ago since we did that. Actually, Will was going to turn up to. I think last time we were in London, but he
was still holding from 2016 WSOP.
Yeah, no. But genuinely, so I'd say I'm sure there's always another side to everybody. And say a close friend of his said to me, he said to him, well, come over and play. There's some really good events on when we were playing the UK ICOP earlier on in the year. And Will's view was, well, I'm probably a professional, really. I play a lot, even though I've still got work and stuff. So he played at the Vic instead and kept out the way because he didn't want to cause any issues. So there is always another side to people. I think, as you say, Dan, when you're in the magnifying glass of Vegas and the whole poker world is watching you, strange things happen, don't they? And you can do some crazy stuff. So.
Yeah, and you're being treated kind of harshly, and I think he was. I think he just went clearly way over the top. But as Joe said, I'm not
defending the WSOP, but he was tanking for 5 minutes every hand, literally every single hand. That's egregious. Do you not think? When the
call the clock. I'm calling the clock on that all day long.
Well, I think he brought it all on himself. I don't think. I think it was the only issue I have with the WSOP was some of the rulings didn't seem to make sense, and I'm not even sure they were following their own guidelines and rules. It felt like they were making it up as they were going along a little bit, and that's the bit that I found bizarre. I don't know whether in their rules, I mean, I've not read them all to know, but whether there's something in their rules that says that they're allowed to put a 10-second shot clock just on one player.
But the point was, I don't think you've seen this from watching the stream.
No,
my understanding, and I'm happy to be corrected, but my understanding was it started literally on day 2, where he was taking 5 minutes of decision, every single decision for every single street, and it was just going on. So these 2-hour levels were in essence being reduced for everybody else at the table to 45-minute blind levels.
Oh, no. Dan, he brought the whole thing on himself.
But my point is, throughout the process, my understanding is they went to him, they gave him a warning. They said, look, if you keep doing it, we're going to introduce a 60-second shot clock. And I was playing in the Gladiator. There was a guy on my table next to me. They did exactly the same thing to a Korean guy, had 3 big blinds.
Okay.
And he was taking, literally, there was no shot clock. He was taking as long as he can until somebody called the clock. Every hand for a $200 pay jump. And he did it, and he got to the point where after about 20 minutes, so he got like 4 or 5 hands in. The floor came over. They told him that they are now imposing a 10-second shot clock every single hand because he's disrupting the game. And
okay, well, that's good then. So that is obviously.
And then after that, I mean, he went down to 5 seconds, and then they're like, well, we can't do any shorter. So there are.
I mean, did you see the Isaac Haxton hand where? He was all in bar one chip and or needed a call and sat there and openly said, "We're on a pay jump. I'm going to tank this for as long as you all feels fair. Whenever you feel you want to call the clock on me, call the clock on me." I think the table gave about 5 minutes, and then somebody said, "We're going to have to do that." Came over, took his 30 seconds, waited till the end, shoved it in, lost the flip, and off he went.
Yeah,
and that was it. And I don't know.
No problem with that. If you're doing it once in a tournament during a pay jump, and you want to do that, I understand the logic behind it, but doing it from day 2 for 5 minutes a hand, and I would imagine, and I wasn't there during that time, but I'm sure I could find out. I wouldn't be surprised if he's had these warnings systematically throughout each day, each dinner break. It keeps going. They move to the next step. Right. We're going to now impose a 30-second shot clock on you. We're now reducing it to 10, etc., etc. And then they got to the point where they said, if you keep doing it, we're going to, remove you from the tournament.
Scouse was dragging it out, but unfortunately, he's just bust the satellite in 8, so we're now in the money. When I say in the money, it's.
Everybody's got the
Let me explain.
home.
So there's 7. Yeah, there's 7 players left. They're all in the money. The top 4 are all going to pick up £140 seat to play any APAT event this year. 7th place is pretty much going to pick up enough money for a pint. 6th place is going to pick up enough money for a pint and a packet of crisps. And 5th place is going to get a pint for them, mate, and maybe a sandwich to share. That's pretty much where we're going with the money. I don't know why it's split the cash. It's £5.60, £8.40, and £14 for 7th, 6th, and 5th. So they're all got a little bit of something back, but ultimately the next 3 places are still effectively not really getting any returns from a £30 buy-in. So it's top 4 are going to get it. I should just give a shout out. Douglas Dew is chip leader. We're pretty much joint chip leader with Col FC Perps, which is Bill. They're the top 2 at the moment. Red Nev is in 3rd. Double top 40 still there, as is the Magician 12345A. Seymour Tilts is always at these satellite final tables. Alan does very, very well. And Tristor Bust is still sat in there nicely. So the short stacks have got about 9-10 bigs at the moment.
Leigh, one APATer who, by all accounts, would probably do well with a pint and a pack of crisps, as Simon says, is Paxton skint? It's Dave Paxo, is he skint? And then he went, no, Haxton. Is Haxton skint?
Yeah. Well. Funnily enough, Daniel Negreanu. I think it was Daniel Negreanu's vlog might have been today, absolutely was slating Haxon for it, and saying, I think it was like it might have been a 1,500 buy-in or something like that, or a 3K, just like saying, what are you doing? His comment was, he said, when you've climbed to the top of the mountain, he said, you don't reach down to scoop up the nickels and dimes. Was Negreanu's comment. I thought, yeah, he's kind of got a little bit of a point, I guess. But yeah, but hey, these players that manage to make a living out of playing poker, they don't do it by giving away any edge or any equity or cash that they can.
I think it's a bit of an egregious comment.
Look after the pennies, isn't it? Yeah.
That's a bit egregious. No offense, Daniel Negreanu, great, lovely guy, but he's getting paid how many millions by GG every year? He doesn't need to worry about the nickels and dimes. Ike Haxton's not been sponsored for a very long time, stakes a lot of players, plays the biggest games out of his own pocket.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
Who knows, Dan?
Exactly.
You're absolutely right.
We've just lost Red Neville Harrington in 7th, so he's got a point, money for a point. Six left, and top 4 are all picking up seats here. So.
Talking about trying to scoop up those dimes, request from Mr. 40 to you, Dan. I knocked you out tonight. Do I get some Poker News patches, please?
No, you didn't. You didn't knock me out. No,
apparently you didn't.
Just knocked me out. Oh, maybe you left.
Give me your best. Give me your best Kassouf. Give me your best Kassouf line, Dan, that he didn't knock you out. Come on, give me your best shot.
No, I'm gonna find him a patch. That's it.
I'm gonna find him a patch.
Desperate.
Watch it, Steve, because he's remembering your face, and he's going to come back next year.
That's right. I'm going to find you a patch.
He's going to do you.
Yeah, I'm going to find you a patch, and that's where I'm going to bury you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got any.
Gotta love it. Whilst we're playing through this with 6 to go, should just mention if you were trying to get in for the APAT draw for the 140 seat on Poker Raffles this week, sorry, sold out about lunchtime today. So that's well ahead of schedule. There is another one up for next week though, so it'll be too late for Liverpool. But you'll be able to use it for anything at the Worlds or whatever. So also tomorrow night we are drawing another Dusk Till Dawn summer seat worth £560.
Oh, guys.
Nice. Oh, they're nice.
Yeah. There you go. This is retro. This is from like 1996.
Live here, guys.
Very
no
nice
spoilers.
Indeed.
No spoilers. Mizrachi's all in for his last 2.3 million. There's a flop out, so 2 cards to come. He's up against Ace-7.
What's the delay on the stream?
I would imagine
there.
15
You're
minutes.
watching
15,
on a half. Yeah.
Maybe even half an hour.
Yeah.
Well, he's
more importantly,
I don't know how he's won it, but he's actually won the.
More importantly,
hand.
Tristan is all in with his 6 bigs from the button. He's just got to get through the magician in the big blind, and he does. I mean, that's the bigger hand that we're watching. Yeah. So the Dusk Till Dawn draw is still live for tomorrow night. You can win £560 worth of credit for the WCOAP, which will get you, sort of a decent 4, 5, 6 tournaments across those 6 days, or whatever you fancy playing. I think you're popping down for a couple of days, Dan. Is that right? Are you doing a couple or not at all for the World?
Yeah, no, I'm doing. What am I doing? Don't know. Yeah, Thursday, Friday. Is that right?
Yeah, okay.
Is that days that you're there?
Yeah, second day of the team event, and is that the 8 game Thursday, Friday, or is that Friday, Saturday?
No, it's Friday, Saturday. I'll be playing. I'll play the other mix. Whatever the other mix is, deuce to 7 triple.
Yeah,
and
cool.
Something else.
Well, there is plenty. I think we open with a Torse game on the Wednesday. I think of the mixed games. But anyway, the 560 credit. That will get you a decent chunk of events in the world if you decide to use it for that. If you don't want to use it for that, you can use it for the UKPC at the beginning of September, or a Dusk Till Dawn 125 as well. So loads of options. Check those out on Poker Raffles. Anyway, we've also got the Malta draw. Should give a shout out on that, because again, you can use that for APAT Malta if you want to. So if you win one of those 3 packages, biggest ever Malta Poker Festival draw, £4,000 worth of prizes, three packages in total. Every ticket's got 3 chances of winning. We're drawing that at the beginning of September. And if you win one of those packages, you can use it to play the APAT event out there, and you'll get either 500 quid or £1,000 worth of cash, which pretty much gets you to Malta and somewhere to stay for the weekend.
Have you seen the news just in? UK bracelet just been announced. Joshua Bolton wins the Hall of Fame bounty, which was the one that another Brit won last year. Actually, who won it last year?
Is that the one that's? Is that the one that's? Is it the 1979 buy-in one? Yeah.
Yeah. So look, the
Yeah.
guy
Yeah.
is it Chevelin Poker, the guy that was doing all of the funny names of the WSOP competition this year. He won this bracelet last year, and we had 3 Brits at the final table actually. But yeah, Joshua Bolton, who is a name I don't recognise, but maybe I should, has just won it for £300,000 to double his career earnings. So that's pretty good. Well done him.
Excellent stuff. Give a quick shout out to Pete Wigglesworth, who's in the chat as he's driving home from Andover. And we'll see us all in Nottingham next month. Looking forward to it. Pete had a good run out in Vegas in a few events, and safely back for another year and back to playing, grinding some events in the UK. I'm assuming Pete will be up at Goliath, which is kicking off in another week's time. I want to say 2 weeks' time. That's crazy. Going to be there, and you've got. Should mention at Goliath, we have the Poker News Cup. Dan,
we do
£550 buy-in on the final weekend at Coventry. I would imagine that is going to get some crazy numbers. Yeah.
So last year the Goliath Cup, which it was not as good a name, let's be fair, but is what they had to call it last year. I'm just having a look now, but it got a ridiculous amount of runners because obviously everybody that's made day 2 that has bust can play it. Late reg runs until about 9 p.m. on the Saturday, I want to say. I think last year it got close to 100k up top. It was like a biggie.
Wow, nice.
So we'll be there all week. So we'll have the Poker News booth for those that saw us in Malta. Very similar setup, giving away loads of merch. So all these people messaging, asking for freebies, go to the Goliath and get it there. Easy. We're also giving away 2 seats to the 550 that you can win, and it's nice and fair. If you go to the merch booth and you do the survey and you get some merch, you get a ticket. 2 people will win a free seat for that. And then myself.
Can I just dial in the survey? Do I actually have to go to Coventry, or can I just dial it in?
Yeah, you need to be in the room where it happens, as Burr says in Hamilton.
I've got a friend who's dead. Dan, can I use his entry?
No. Well, I mean, he's probably got more chance than you, Des, to be fair. So maybe. But,
I want to give a quick shout out just because it could be time sensitive. This one, you just noticed Simon Lawler in the chat. I'm assuming Simon is referring to himself when he says on the bubble in the Party Glasgow mini main seat. I presume playing a satellite tonight. Good luck if you are on the bubble in that, Simon. Let us know if you win the seat.
Cy.
And are heading up north to play that tour, which is again that one's only in I want to say another week's time or 2 weeks' time, I think.
You got to go to Glasgow there. It's a bit of a mission, right?
Well, we're doing Glasgow in the autumn, so APAT are up there. Got busy old schedule in the autumn. Got Portsmouth, Leeds, Glasgow, and then obviously a trip to Ash, and then our regular stop off in Malta. So busy old time. Once we get the Worlds finished, we're pretty much non-stop for the autumn time. Magicians all in with the King 9 against Douglas Dew's Queen 10, and was ahead anyway, and the 9 on the flop only cemented that. So we're still 6 left. These top 4 are all going to get a £140 APAT seat, but it's really tight now. So we've got 2 chip leaders, Seymour Tilson and Bill Cov Perps, who've got 20 bigs. Then the other 3 have all got about 10 bigs each. So super tight on this satellite. I mean, Dan, what you're doing here, you need to get 2 more busts with 10 bigs. You're kind of sitting tight, yeah? You're not going to do anything silly.
You don't need to do anything. Just take your spots when folded and open to you. There's an interesting theory in satellites where basically at this stage of the tournament, hands like pocket pairs, 7s, 8s through, even like jacks, become weaker as an option to shove versus a hand like ace deuce off, solely because calling ranges have to be so narrow in these satellites, which we don't see obviously in most of the ones on Grosvenor, but traditionally calling ranges this late in the tournament should be super tight. So if you have an ace in your hand, it's much better to shove because you're blocking the combinations of I mean, obviously they've just shoved into aces, so that's very unfortunate for Tris. But yeah, but ultimately, yeah, shoving a hand like ace deuce is better than shoving a hand like jacks, because if you shove jacks,
hang on, I've got Tristan on the phone saying it works for kings though. Yeah. Dan says it works for kings as well. Trish, you'll be fine, honestly. Yeah, won't be a problem.
Yeah, blocking a king's good, Tris. Yeah, that's very unlucky. But yeah, it's an interesting nuance. But obviously, we know with chip ICM, especially in satellites, when the prizes are completely shallow and even, once you get into the main ticket. Oh, Tris, sorry, I just want to see Tris win this one. I'd feel terrible if he lost this one.
Oh, he's sweating it, but gets there, so gets a little double up. So he's back up. He's back up to 5 bigs, but Magician's only got 6 as well. Douglas Du's got 9. Say chip leaders have got 14, about 15 bigs. So this is.
Tris isn't in the worst spot. Like Brian Frew's in a terrible spot here with 9 bigs in his seat, because he literally has to fold every shove. Magician can pretty much shove into his big blind pretty liberally, and the impact the impact of losing Magician and gaining the chips for Brian is, the upside is much smaller than the downside of losing and going to the short stack.
Yeah,
so he's in a horrible
spot. Shoves again, and it's tough for anyone to make a call here, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Magician's kind of the only person that can call a little bit more liberally, because they're ultimately
because the size of the stack. Just go for it. Yeah. But unless they're going to wake up with, like Steve Forty did with the aces there, your hand's got to look. I mean, even so, these guys that have got sort of 13 bigs, 15 bigs, if it's a 6 big shove, Dan, what are they calling it off with? Aces, kings, queens? Is that about it? Ace, king, maybe?
That's far too loose. No, literally aces and kings, I would say. And there's an argument to fold kings. I mean, at some stage of these tournaments, you fold aces 100% of the time, because you're pretty much guaranteed a seat. So seeing tilt doesn't need to play a hand, really.
So Tristan shoves his 8.5 bigs again. So he's gone from what was 2 bigs to 8.5 bigs in the space of 3 or 4 hands by just going super aggro. And he's now at 10 bigs, which now puts him sort of 4th. So he's now back in the seat positions.
The thing is, but Tristan understands the dynamic. I mean, he understands the dynamic, and people can't call unless they really have aces, and he's already run into them once. So card distribution maths would say it probably shouldn't happen again in the next 5 or 6 hands. I mean, obviously we have to make the assumption people are calling.
Well, you say that. Hey, Danny, are you the type of person that sits at a roulette wheel marking down what numbers have gone and saying, well, that one won't come up again in a hurry? Yeah.
I don't have enough money. I don't have enough money to sit at a roulette table. I have 1 spin, and if it's not black 17, I'm on my way out. That's it. I'm a one and done kind of guy. But yeah. But no, it's interesting.
I think so. Simon Lawler's won his seat by the looks of it. Wins his seat by the looks of it.
Lovely.
Spun a 20p ticket into a £150 seat. Simon, very well done, my friend. Very well done indeed. That is superb bombing. Great work. And Bill shows the aces there.
He's not for folding them. Me ass.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So, this is the APAT Sunday satellite. 6 left. Top 4 are all going to pick up £140 seat here. Other 2 are going to get a tiny bit of cash, but not a huge amount left. Football's all finished for the night. I won't give any spoilers just in case anybody is going to catch up with it. But it's all fairly well in the women's Euros fairly quick result. Maybe the Club World Cup final went a little bit against the expectations. But
I think we've all had a look.
I love this. Oh, I'm saying what you should be folding, and I saw Bill put fold aces my ass, and I mean.
Calls off with a King Jack against King 7, and King 7 gets there, and that brings Bill back into the pack. And so Bill shoves, Douglas Do, Brian Frew shoves as well.
Wow.
We're going to have at least one, either an exit or a very short stack coming up here. Let's see. Still got 3 more players to get through.
I mean, yeah, guess the
Steve
hand.
40's obviously got a decision. Steve will pop it in the chat unless he's time banking down.
Oh, yeah, he's doing a Wilkesoof.
Yeah,
But you know what? I have to say,
he's
it's really
busy.
interesting. It's really interesting watching the final table of satellite. Nobody has tanked, which is an absolute no-brainer strategy in satellites. Like,
Because you just want to get the levels up as
100%.
quickly.
Yeah, you want to absolutely charge.
Nothing wrong with the shove A6 from Bill, and with Brian with the Ace King, he's definitely going to do that. And Bill's now down to two and a half bigs, and is in the big blind this hand, folding all the way around. It's I would imagine those blinds, or the one and a half bigs behind, are going in on this hand as well, with what's already going to be in the middle, unless there was some crazy action beforehand where he could find a fold. I guess if you did have an all-in and a call before it gets round to him, Dan, you could find a fold there, couldn't you? And just go, well, okay. If he's not got anything hand-wise, you just go, well, I'll let it go and I'll sit on one and a half bigs, and we'll go again. Because you just need to survive to be in the top four. It doesn't really matter how many chips you've got, does it?
One with this chip distribution, I think it depends on your hand. If you've got something that can, like, make some sort of nuts, then
that's unfortunate. Magician shoves with the nines, and to be fair, Bill's seen an ace and gone, that's good enough. Ideally wanted 2 live cards, but not to be. We lose Bill in sixth place, picking up just the
£8.40. He's getting a poker news hat, remember? So
well, to be fair to Bill knows Liverpool well, so £8.40 might get him 2 or 3 pints and a few packs of crisps, because he'll know where to go. So to be honest,
the off-license where he can get 8 cans for a £5.
Yeah, he'll know. Bill will know where to go to make that £8.40, and a whole night out, I reckon. He'll be able to do that. But see you next weekend, Bill, up in Liverpool. Unlucky tonight. So here we go then. Pure bubble for the seats now. Tristan is the short stack again with 8.5 bigs, and everybody else has got between 12 and 16. So. And they're now they're in the chat fighting over the Poker News cap now. You should open a merch shop, Dan, honestly. You'd do all right.
It would be a great idea.
I said that to Andrea King. I said that to Andrea King once, because she has so much merchandise from working in the industry for so long. I said she had it all piled up in her house from different things and that, whatever. I said, seriously, you should open an online shop. You'd make a killing.
Steve can have this lovely piece of artwork my 6-year-old did. There, look at that. That's like
beautiful,
avant-garde.
Sweet.
Get him to sign it. Might well be worth something down the line.
Have you not seen the painting? I don't think he can hold a pen.
No, if it's not worth something now, then it might well be down the line.
Right. Look at this. Blinds have just gone up. The best time in satellites. We like this. Everybody's super duper shallow. But, I mean,
Carl says.
So when does are they playing down to a final table of the main event today, aren't they? So they've already started playing, haven't they? So that's playing down to a final table, and then is it 2 days they have planned for the final table, or does the final table play
They always have 2 days for the final table, but I would imagine what were they
Tuesday
on now?
And Wednesday,
they normally then play down to. Do they normally play down to 3 and then
be
play
down
a
to
second
9
day?
today? Down to 9.
Yeah, so they're going to get down to final table today, and then the final table should take 2 days. Yeah.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Interesting though, when you look at the chip counts, obviously Kenny Hallett came 6th in 2016, same year that Will had all of his prior problems. So that's a pretty impressive run. I mean, there's some really interesting names in the field. Adam Hendricks, obviously, big name in the industry, super high stakes player. Tony Gregg, we haven't seen him for a while, but he's back on the scene. Leo Margetts. I think I don't know if they're both, but one of the German Grindhouse guys is still in. I know another one went super deep. Mike Mizrachi's still in. Yeah, it should be.
I think, Dan, if Margetts gets to the final table, that's going to be the big story, certainly leading into the final, because we haven't had a woman on the final table before, I believe, and it's been due for a long time.
The last female final tablist of the main was Barbara Entry in a long time ago. I couldn't.
Yeah, it was pre-modern age, because obviously that's been the big narrative every year. Can we get a woman onto the final? And what was it, 5 or 6 years ago? They finished 10th and 11th. Bauman and
Ace Jack for Steve.
Yeah.
No, so King's busts the Ace Jack of Steve 40, and that is that.
Unlucky Steve.
So Steve has picked up the fifth place money of £14, and we have our 4 seat winners. So congratulations to Tristan Bust. Tristan, well done to you. Magician 123458, Douglas Do with Brian Frew, well done to you. And hey, Seymour Tilts. He didn't win one last week, but I think that's now either 3rd or 4th. I think that Alan's won since we've been doing these. Congratulations to you. Just has got the knack of getting these won, and that is our 4 winners for tonight. Well done to all of you. Congratulations to you.
To answer your thing, Des, Barbara Enright did it in 1995, so it's 30 years since the last lady final table domain.
I wonder why they tend to go on about, and I may well be mistaken here, but I thought that was a big narrative that a woman hadn't. Now, maybe they're talking about modern age. Maybe they're talking about since Moneymaker. I don't know. But cool. Well, I'm glad to see that isn't the case, that a woman hasn't made the final table. But I would love Marquette to do so.
I would imagine that they do very much look at the post-Moneymaker year where the numbers started going
to really
crazy.
Escalate.
And before that,
95 was Dan Harrington's year of winning it. So, it's really isn't that modern age at all, is it?
It's but it is where it is. So talking World Series, as I say, John has updated up to 87 results now. Blair Reid is still at the top of this leaderboard. Can anybody catch Blair, or is Blair going to take down the win with 14 results left to go? One of those being the main event, and I guess Mizrachi's about the only one that anyone's probably got a pick of in this fantasy comp, I would guess. Talk Club still in second place. Didn't Dan and I do a good job of picking that team this year?
Bombing, boys. Top bombing.
What a great effort from us. Chris Hyam there as well in the. I think I'm assuming these little shaded bits here now are those in the money position. So Paul Roper's there, Mark Nichols, and that's one Carl Pilgrim is also in there.
Captain.
Just trying to see where's so my team is 273. I've got a team there. I'm trying to look for your team, Des.
Oh dear. Is there a page 2, Lee?
I'm on the end column. Oh, I found you on the end column. 159 points.
I just read my team after like the second or third update was near the top, and now I just stayed there. 213,
Dan. Yeah, it's 213. What happened with your? Let me find your team quickly, Dan. You can just talk us through. Oh, there you go. That didn't take too much finding. Let me see if I can make that a bit bigger, so make it easier to spot. There we go. I mean, you've got a couple of big scores. To be on 213 and have Benny Glazer and Negreanu, they've done most of the heavy lifting in that team for you, haven't they? Really?
Well, Patrick Leonard's got 13 cashes this series and still is only on 27 points. That's unfortunate. Adam Owen's been there for the whole series and has played every single event and is normally a shoo-in in mixed games, and he's done nothing. Adrian Mateos is the best player in the world, and so God knows what he's up to, having a year off. Friedman's not played much, sadly. Danny Tang, obviously, I don't know. I saw him over there when I was there, but he wasn't doing much or playing much. Yeah, just, Jesse Lonis, best player in the world, they reckon. What's going on here? Let me find
Blair's leading team at the moment, 391. Obviously, it's got Glazer in it. Sean Deeb, though, is now outscoring Glazer in this. I'm assuming Sean Deeb must be the overall best player in this. But he's got a lot of bracelets in there, because Vieira picked up a bracelet, Schulman's picked up a bracelet. So to still have the likes of Hennigan, Rob Mizrachi and Steven not really scoring for him to be on 391 is phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, let's take this off the screen. Nobody wants to see this anymore.
Oh dear.
So
Simon Allen says, I'm hoping to make a late run. Aren't we all?
Where's Simon's? Let me find Simon's team, as he's going to regret saying that now, because I'm now going to go and there's Simon. 135. Yeah, that's going to need to be a very late run.
If you're behind me, my friend, it's too late.
You need a call to Toby Lewis to remind him where Vegas is. Yeah.
Toby Lewis is going to win a bracelet today. Toby Lewis is in the 3K Tours, I think, chip leader.
Late run.
Oh, right, okay.
Leader. Hang on. He's third in chips with 11 left.
Oh, brilliant.
Well,
amazing.
So maybe Simon's comment of a late run is very much on. That could be the case. He might well still be doing it. But John's doing a cracking job. Don't forget, guys, to head over to the Facebook group for the fantasy competition and give a little bit of a like to some of the stuff that's in there, or say join in some of the banter and chat about what's been going on. Certainly makes the guys feel appreciated for all of their efforts over the last couple of months. And hey, we might have a bit of a charity winner of Talk Club if they can hang on up the top there. We'll pick up something for the charity. Fingers crossed, Dan. That would be a nice result for us, wouldn't it?
I can't even remember who we picked to be, if I'm honest.
Oh, I can very quickly tell you the Talk Club team. There it is. There. I mean, we've even got a 0-pointer in there. I mean, we've got Corey Aldermer, who's done absolutely bugger all.
I don't think he bothered coming.
No, don't think he bothered turning up. So yeah, but everybody else, fair play, has scored quite nicely for us. So and of course we've got Sean Deeb and we've got Glazer. So yeah, it's if you've got both of those in your team, you are certainly in very much going to be in the mix. To say the least, Des. Well, that's a kind of where we are update. We've had another week. We've hardly mentioned any football. We're doing quite well with this. This time next week, guys, APAT is going to be in Liverpool. Tom is going to be up there for the weekend looking after all of you in Liverpool. We will probably still do an APAT show next week for anyone's there. We'll see if we can actually get hold of anybody in Liverpool if they're still playing when we go live. Satellites will be running again next week, so if you want to get involved in those, do so. Next stop you'll be able to use them for now will be the Worlds, but you can build them up. So any £140 seats for the Worlds, you can just build up for those and use them. If you don't want to use them for the Worlds, you can hold off for all of the stuff we've got going on in the autumn. I will give a shout out just to the raffles draws. If you want to get involved in those, Dusk Till Dawn draw is drawing tomorrow night. That's got about half the tickets left. That goes crazy on a Monday. Des and I always have a bit of a chuckle on a Monday afternoon going, we might struggle to sell these. And all of a sudden it goes bang, 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 bang. They just absolutely fly out the door on a Monday. So if you want to get involved in those, do. APAT draw for Monday night is already sold out. But as you can see down the bottom there, there is a new one up for the week after. And with all of the APAT stuff, you can use it for any event you like this year, whenever you want it. But that Malta draw is going to be super cool. Beginning of September, 3 packages. If you want to get involved in that one, 3 chances to win. See Malta Poker Festival popping that out on socials today. Absolutely loving it. I think they described it as the cheapest and quickest way to win a package to the Malta Poker Festival. So there,
definitely a compliment in there, I thought.
Yeah. Very much.
Oh,
that
amazing.
Is the case.
Amazing stuff. Well, look, guys, I think we're going to call it there. Dan, thank you for joining us. What are you up to next week, my friend, before we let you go? Anything exciting?
No.
Any exclusives for us?
No, parenting, driving children to activities. I'm working, the life of a 40-year-old father. No, nothing exciting.
Business as usual.
All building up to the Goliath. So if you are at the Goliath firing loads of bullets that you've won on the Grosvenor Online, sponsors of APAT, then come and see us. We'll be there with a merch store. Get your free hats. There'll be loads there. T-shirts, all of the good stuff. And hopefully see you. I might fire a couple of bullets while I'm there because who doesn't like torching money. So yeah. That'd be good.
Goliath is great. If you didn't see the, I shared it into the APAT group. Jamie Nixon did an interview with the Poker News podcast guys whilst over in Vegas. An absolutely cracking 5-10 minutes chatting about Goliath. I thought Jamie did a superb job of kind of selling what Goliath is all about. Because even over in the States, players don't know about it.
No,
they don't really. When they get explained to what it is, they're like, "Wow, that's great." It's the biggest event outside of Vegas.
I think his comment where he said to Mike Holtz, one of the presenters, he said, "If you haven't done 20 bullets in the Goliath, you're doing it wrong." And Mike's like, "Now I want to fly over." And I think that sums it up.
No gamble, no fun, eh?
Yeah, I thought Jamie did a cracking job of promoting Goliath, and obviously got in the Poker News Cup into that podcast as well. And the guy's done a good job actually throughout the season. And what I should say, I know the focus is all on Vegas, Dan, but Poker News, you've been covering so much other stuff that's going on as well at the same time, isn't it? I keep seeing stuff popping up from other events going on. That it just seems to be getting bigger and bigger in the coverage that you're doing. It used to just be June and July. The focus was everyone focused on Vegas, on the World Series, and that was kind of it. But now there is so much going on, isn't there?
Yeah, we've had people all over the world still covering stuff, covering all the latest stories that go on. I mean, the team, credit to them. I think
magnificent job, Dan.
People forget we're not a huge team. Like, we're not massively resourced with staff. A lot of the people that work with us have been with us for a long time, and pulling night shifts up at 4 a.m, catching the coverage, covering it, so we've got 24-hour eyes on it. So there is a lot of work that goes in, not just with the live team that you see at Vegas with all the live reporting, which is obviously a huge operation, and then the content on top of that, making sure these Kasuf stories, we're getting to them first, getting them out first, they're, all the evidence and the truth and quotes and et cetera being done. But then also, the remote guys as well. We've got people covering it 24 hours a day, making sure that everybody's on top of it. So yeah, it's a busy period, but the juice is worth the squeeze, and it's super fun, right? Who fan of poker doesn't want to be ingrained in what's going on in Vegas? So I'm sure they're all excited for a couple of weeks off when it finishes.
Well, they do a magnificent job, Dan. I mean, it's irreplaceable alongside the series itself. As I said, every morning for me, the first thing that I will touch on is the wrap-up article from the previous day. Chip counts with the filtering. It's so easy to find the UK players, the Irish players. The My Players tab was brilliant for all of the various other tourneys throughout. So it works really, really well. And I'm sure the amount of effort that your team, the wider team, puts in is much appreciated by the community. So well done to you all. So I guess, guys, we're going to leave it there. Big thank you to Dan for joining us tonight. Added a lovely bit of colour on, what was quite a serious topic, really, with the Will Kasuf stuff. Thank you, Leigh. For anybody who doesn't join us tomorrow night, if you are going to Liverpool, have a smashing trip and a great tournament. Otherwise, we hope to see you tomorrow night for the Poker Raffles draw. Alternatively, as Leigh said, Sunday night we will be doing the APAT show as normal. And we would hope that we'll bring you some form of summary update from Liverpool, possibly even with a winner's pick. We will see. Brilliant. So we'll leave it there, guys. Have a fantastic week. And until we next see you, cheers.